Well folks, it seems like 2025 is off to a roaring start. Remember those halcyon days of 2018 and 2019? The trade war to end all trade wars? Good times. Sadly, those memories might be resurfacing as we watch the US and Canada, two countries that share a border, a language, mostly, and a love of hockey, go head-to-head in a tariff battle royale. Yes, you heard that right. Tariff Man is back, baby. And this time, he set his sights on our neighbors to the north. Trump, in his infinite wisdom, has decided to slap a 25% tariff on goods from Canada. Why? Well, that's where things get about as clear as a glass of milk after a toddler's done with it. This isn't just some polite economic disagreement, this is serious stuff, folks. We're talking billions of dollars in trade, industries hanging in the balance, and the very real possibility of milk in bags becoming the least of our worries. Buckle up, buttercups, because things are about to get interesting. The US has threatened new tariffs, and Canada isn't taking it lying down. How will this economic showdown unfold? Stay tuned to find out. So, what exactly is Tariff Man's beef with Canada this time? Let's dig in. Well, according to the man himself, it's all about unauthorized migration, fentanyl, and that old chestnut, the trade deficit. Apparently, Canada is a hotbed of illicit drug smuggling and people sneaking across the border with reckless abandon. Now, I'm not saying there aren't any issues with these things, but blaming Canada for America's drug problem is like blaming your dog for eating your homework when you left it right next to his kibble bowl. As for the trade deficit, well, let's just say Trump's grasp on economics is about as firm as his grasp on reality. He claims the US is losing billions to Canada, but economists say the actual figure is much lower. And even then, it's not like Canada is running some elaborate scam. We buy their stuff, they buy our stuff, it's called, wait for it, trade. And when the US threatens tariffs, Canada doesn't just sit back. They respond, often with their own set of tariffs, leading to a tit-for-tat economic showdown. Curious, isn't it? Now, Canada isn't just going to take this lying down. Prime Minister Trudeau, who's probably spent the last few years stocking up on maple syrup and poutine in anticipation of this moment, has vowed to retaliate. And retaliate they have, with billions of dollars in counter tariffs of their own. But Canada is also playing the diplomacy card because, let's face it, they're just too darn nice to get into a full-blown trade war. They're reminding the US that they're not just some rogue state, they're a reliable ally and a major trading partner. They're like that friend who always brings the good snacks to the party and never complains about your music, even when you're blasting Nickelback. The question is, will Tariff Man listen, or is he too busy tweeting insults from the Oval Office to care about the potential economic fallout? Only time will tell. Buckle up, folks. Trade wars are like a high-stakes poker game where everyone risks losing big. Sure, some industries might benefit in the short term, but in the long run, everyone loses. Consumers face higher prices, businesses struggle to cope with tariffs and uncertainty, and the economy takes a hit. And let's not forget the human cost of this trade spat. People's livelihoods are at stake. On both sides of the border, border towns which rely heavily on cross-border trade are particularly vulnerable. It's like watching two kids fight over a toy while their parents foot the bill for the broken furniture. So what does the future hold for the US and Canada? Will this trade war escalate into a full-blown economic meltdown, or will cooler heads prevail and a resolution be found? Your guess is as good as mine, folks, but one thing's for sure, it's going to be a bumpy ride.